Finally, we have a Mesmer healing build that also provides a lot of damage output. This healing Alacrity Mirage build provides a lot of damage while also having crazy amounts of utility and very good just general healing output passively, and in my opinion is very fun to play. So if you're intrigued by this, be sure to watch the whole video to not miss out a thing. As always, special shout out to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon that help me keep the lights on. And now, without much further ado, let's jump straight in. Big credits to Stein for the original build. So for the gear, it's quite easy. You go for full Celestial and Superior Rune of the Trapper for the most amount of condi damage. And if you can afford infusions, you would go with condition damage infusions. For weapons, you want to go with Staff as your main weapon, with Superior Sigil of Bursting and Superior Sigil of Malice. And your second weapon set, which would be the Rival, you would use Energy and Transference Sigil. Rival would be your healing weapon and your Staff would be your offensive weapon. Of course, the trinkets would full Celestial as well. And your Relic would be Relic of the Flock for the most amount of healing that you can get with the Relic. There are a lot of things that you could swap around with the gear and the build and stuff. For example, you could go for more aggressive weapons, you could go for different runes or a different relic. This is just my setup that I think works quite well and is a very nice balance between good healing output and still providing good damage as well. For food and utility consumables, we have multiple choices. If you can't afford Ascended food, I would go with Delicious Rice Balls. They're very cheap and just give you a very nice amount of healing output. For Ascended food, if you want to heal a lot, you would go with Bowl of Fruit Salad with Mint Garnish. It's just a very good healing output and a concentration increase as well. That's really nice. If you want to be more aggressive, because the fight, for example, doesn't need that much healing, you go for Cilantro and Cured Meat Flatbreads for more condition damage. For utility consumables, again, in the more aggressive option, you would go with the condition damage-based Tuning Icicles or something of similar stats. If you need more healing output, the by far best option is Bountiful Maintenance Oils. So those 5 foods and utility would be my optimal choices depending on the situation. Before I get to the traits, I want to mention if you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. And if you like this video, be sure to leave a like. That helps out my channel a bunch. Thanks a lot. And now to the traits. So for the traits, you want to go with Chaos, Inspiration, and Mirage. Just exactly as in Chronomancer healing build, or if you would go for Healing Mirage, be sure to check out the link in the description below if you want to go for the full Healing Mirage setup. But this is the Celestial variant, so you take a little bit different traits. So you get some regeneration when you use a healing skill also to allies, that's really nice. And you get more condition damage when you get Chaos Aura, that's really, really good. You get that quite consistently, we'll see why in a second. And then gain concentration and expertise while affected by region. So that means you really want to upkeep 100% regeneration to get more concentration and expertise, because that's both really valuable in a Celestial build. Then you get perma protection from just spamming your F2 skill. Gives a really nice protection uptime, really good, also for your allies of course. And then you get more condition damage while you're on Staff, less recharge, and even more condition damage just baseline. It's really, really potent. And then of course you take Bountiful Disillusionment. You can provide stability with your F4 to your allies, and really, really nice other good boons as well, especially Might on your F1 is really important here as well. And you get self-stability whenever you shatter, so not only on the stability on the F4, which is shared, but also self-stability every time, so you have permanent uptime of stability on this build. It's actually insane. Then you have Inspiration for the healing. You get a Condi Cleanse on your healing skill. You get Aegis on your F4. So you can not only apply stability, but also Aegis to your allies, not to yourself, but to your allies. That can be really, really nice if you just want to negate an attack, that they don't even get damaged. Then you get very nice passive healing increase here with Illusion and Inspiration. You get Restorative Mantras, which just heals way more on the mantras. Really nice. You have 1 mantra at least. It's really good. Then you take Ego Restoration, so you get a clone when you use a healing skill. Also very good in this build, because we want to shatter a lot, and shatters are more potent with more clones. And then lastly, we take Restorative Illusions. Really, really broken trait, especially in Mirage. Whenever you shatter, you get a big healing for you and your allies, and a Condi remove. And this is really, really strong because you shatter really often in this build. And then you take Mirage. From Mirage, of course, you get your access to your ambush when you dodge. That is a really potent skill. And as Mirage, you actually get now access to Mirage Mantle. So whenever you ambush attack, you get quite potent Alacrity uptime in a rather big radius around you. So that's really, really strong. So you have to ambush a lot. You want to do that as well in terms of damage in this build. You take Self-Deception to create a clone when you already have 1 active when you use a Deception skill. Of course, that's really, really potent as well, especially in conjunction with the instant cast of Chaunt. And lastly, we take Dooncloak. This trait got buffed and is now even more broken than before. So when you shatter with 2 or 3 clones, you actually get Mirage Cloak, so you can use an ambush attack again, which then is another thing to actually proc the Alacrity and give you a lot of damage on the Chaos Vortex, but you also recharge your F2 and your F3 skill by 3 seconds baseline. So whenever you do that, you recharge your shatters. That means that you can shatter more often and you can recharge more often, can cast the ambush more often. It's like some infinite loop. It's really, really crazy. It's really, really strong. If you want to go more aggressive, you can even drop the inspiration or chaos straight line and go for example, illusions, and you would go more for some kind of more offensive Alacrity DPS build that also has some healing in there. But typically, I would say this is the setup I would run if you want to fill the healing role in a group while also providing some nice damage output. Quickly cover the skills here. I already mentioned F1 is really important for might, F2 is really important for damage, F3 is important for some CC and also Fury uptime, and the F4 is important for stability and H's for your allies, also immunity against damage as well for yourself. And you would stay on your staff and just use the staff skills, so your Phantasmal Warlock for damage, use the Chaos Aura for some damage uptime, and of course use the Chaos Storm for some CC and port through with the 2 skill, which creates a clone but also gives you Chaos Aura. And then you would just spam the auto attack or the ambush to get some nice damage and also apply a lot of wounds to you and your allies. You just spam that consistently, you get very nice Might, Fury, Alacrity uptime, really, really good. Important part about this build is that you have to spam your ambush to get the Alacrity and Might permanently, so that's really, really important, as well as the Mind Frag. Then, of course, you take your Mantra for the heal, just very, very potent heal, especially with the Flock Rune, and also, of course, creates a clone. It's really, really strong, really overloaded, really important. Then you take Mirror Images for the most amount of damage, because that instantly creates 2 clones, which you then can shatter and will instantly give you ambush attack and recharges F1 and F2. So it's really, really good because it's 2 clones. And then you take passively Signet of Midnight and Signet of Domination for the condition damage and expertise. You could swap around utility skills to the really crazy good Mesmer utility skills, for example, Feedback, Blink, Arcane Thievery for more wound removal. You could go for stability on your Mantra of Concentration. You could go for Signet of Illusions if you wanted to. You can go for Condi Cleanses here. You can even go for Null Field or Portal. There are so many options. All the deception skills can be worthwhile running. But keep in mind, this is the most damaging setup and you're playing this build because you want to deal damage. If you want to be a full healer, you would take typically not a Celestial healer. Keep that in mind. But this is like the most damaging setup. And then Chaunt, I already mentioned, it's a nice Condi Cleanse, instant cast deception skill, so you create a clone if you already have one active, which you then can use to shatter. That's the main combo. Regarding the rotation, you would always try and stick on staff as long as possible because that's the most amount of damage that you can get. You would only swap to your rival, which would be your heal on your ambush, and of course the other nice skills are also giving either barrier on the 5, 2 and 3 give some nice healing if you double tap the 3, and the 4 is some nice CC. You would only swap to rival if you need a lot of healing. You can, like you can see here in the background, sustain in an extremely threatening damage field, even if you're just sticking to staff because of the broken reload of the Dune Cloak skill on your shatters. That's absolutely important. You can do that. If you need even more healing, you would swap to rival and use your ambush there to get even more healing output, but it's not necessary in like most of the cases. For your rotation, you would start with the Phantasmal Warlock and instantly use Chaos Storm and use your Phase Retreat in that and create a clone with port back to the boss with your Chaunt, and you have 2 clones already, and then you can use your ambush attack, use a shatter F2 with 3 clones so that you get the most amount of damage out, and whenever you have 2 clones, you will shatter to get the maximum amount of value with another ambush and use the ambush of course as well after that always, and then get crazy amounts of damage with that. Keep in mind, your priority should always be your F1 with 2 clones, your F2 with 3 clones. That's your priority for the most amount of damage and might output. After that, you should just repeat that loop and always use your mirror image when it's up and try to not waste clones generation, and always try to use your Phase Retreat when it's possible through the Chaos Storm so that you can get the Chaos Aura for more damage. And after that, just repeat that. Always try to use your heals and your Mantra when it's at 2 charges. And that's the whole rotation of this build. It's not really, there is not a real rotation. You just spam your skills and always try to use your shatter skills when you have 2 or 3 clones up. This is, and of course, never let your endurance go back up to 2 dodges. Always try to use at least 1 dodge so that you can have some endurance recovery with your vigor. This is the whole playstyle of the build. Never use your signets, and you can see the healing and damage output is actually really, really good, and it's just a very, very potent healer while being crazy amounts and bringing crazy amounts of damage as well to the party. So I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks a lot to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon as well. And I hope to see you all in the next video.